Okay, so we can continue, and the idea here is to look some more of these foundational suttas about metta meditation, and we're gonna move on to the benefits of metta, which also is a number of suttas, and kind of just enjoying ourselves going through the suttas, seeing what is there. There's lots of suttas, as you will probably notice, that you probably have never seen before. There's heaps of them in the Pali Canon, and sometimes it's kind of good fun to look at some alternative suttas and just to contemplate exactly what is going on, how we can make this real in our own life. So again, some more foundational suttas, and then we're going to go on to some other things afterwards. So the next sutta here is called the Licchavi Youths, and this is about how their relationship to the Buddha. We'll see that in a second. And the Licchavis, they were like an aristocratic clan. They were Khattiyas. You know, in India they had the four castes. They had the Brahmins, the Khattiyas, the what is it again? The Vaishyas, and the Sudras. Sudras, yeah. So the four castes, and the Khattiyas were like the aristocrats, the warriors, the noble people. So they were like the noble youths, yeah. And the way they're often described in the suttas, they're traveling around in chariots, and some of them are wearing the red chariots and red jewelry, and other ones are wearing blue chariots, blue jewelry, or whatever. They sound like they're just having fun, they're just playing around. Yeah, these are the aristocrats playing around. So this is what it was like to be an aristocrat in ancient India. So these are like the top caste of the Indian society. And so what happens when they meet the Buddha? This is what this is about. All right. So let's see what happens. And at one time the Buddha was staying near Vesali at the great wood in the hall with the peaked roof. So this is one of the places where the Buddha would stay quite often. The Kutagara Sala is the house with the peaked roof. And Mahavana is the great wood, and Vesali is the capital of the Vajjian Republic, where the Licchavis were like one of the leading clans and the aristocrats. Then the Buddha robed up in the morning, and taking his bowl and robe, entered Vesali for alms. Then after the meal, on his return for alms round, he plunged deep into the great wood and sat at the root of a tree for the day's meditation, or the day's abiding. So again, you see how the Buddha kind of gets up in the morning like everyone else. He robes up, and then he takes his bowl and robe, and he enters Vesali for alms. He goes on alms round. And the standard thing for the Buddha to do after the meal, and for many of the monks and nuns presumably as well to do after the meal, was then to go into meditation for what they call the day's abiding, or the day's meditation. And sometimes they would lie down for a while, have a rest, and there's a number of examples of that in the Vinaya Pitaka, or they would start meditating straight away, like the Buddha was famous for the Mahakaruna meditation, the great compassion meditation, because that's kind of how the Buddha abides, in compassion, because that is what in a sense motivates the Buddha to live out of compassion for the world. So he does the great compassion meditation, and then he's kind of ready to put that into practice, I suppose, later on. Sit down at the root of a tree for the day's meditation. And the Indian trees, I'm sure you know here in Malaysia what they can look like. The trees with the large roots, and just sit kind of inside the roots. It's almost like a kuti. When you get this large, the roots kind of spreading out from quite high up, this is sitting at the root of a tree. Is a bit different from when you do it in a country like Australia, where you just have this straight tree. There's no kind of proper root system at the bottom. Okay, so the Buddha is in the forest. What happens then? Now at that time, several Licchavi youths took strong bows and, escorted by a pack of hounds, were going for a walk in the great wood when they saw the Buddha seated at the root of a tree. So they were probably going hunting or something. Yeah, that's why you bring a strung bows. But then they saw the Buddha. When they saw him, they put down their strung bows, tied their hounds up to one side, and went up to him. They bowed and silently paid homage to the Buddha with joined palms. So here you have these aristocrats going for a hunting trip into the forest, and then they find the Buddha, and then they decide not to hunt after all, and instead they pay homage to the Buddha. This is kind of nice. Yeah, these are probably maybe quite arrogant people. You know, if you're highly born, sometimes you can get quite arrogant, and still they have some good qualities in them, as you can see here. Now, at that time, Mahanama the Licchavi was going for a walk in the great wood when he saw those Licchavi youths silently paying homage to the Buddha with joined palms. Seeing this, he went up to the Buddha, bowed, sat down to one side, and expressed this heartfelt sentiment. Heartfelt sentiment is an udana. This is the udana, is the Pali word here. And of udana is one of the collections of the in the Sutta Pitaka. And these are translated here as heartfelt sentiment, udanang, udanesi, I think the Pali is. I haven't looked it up, but okay, thank you. And so it's like an emotional sentiment. You are inspired to say something, and that's when you speak. And the Buddha often would do this. And he says, the Vajjas will grow up, the Vajjas will grow up. But Mahanama, why do you say that the Vajjas will grow up? So now we find out. Sir, these Licchavi youths are violent, harsh, and brash. Whenever sweets are left out for the family's sugarcane, jub fruits, pancakes, pies, or fritters, they filch them and eat them up. And they hit women and girls of good families on their backs. But now they're silently paying homage to the Buddha with joined palms. So these were a bit of scallywags. They were just enjoying themselves, messing around. I told you they were messing around. This is how the aristocrats enjoy their lives, enjoy their wealth, riches, pancakes. Yeah, that's what we had here for breakfast the other day, pancakes. So we are also, maybe we are like the Licchavi youth. I'm not sure. So this anyway. So nothing has. The world doesn't change. The world is the same. Yeah. And so what happens then? What you see here is this idea that we are very complicated as human beings. We have good sides, we have bad sides, and this is true for everyone. And we shouldn't be very slow in judging what is going on. We shouldn't judge others. Very often people will have aspects of their character that are very beautiful and that can come out given the right kind of circumstances. So instead of judging people, we should encourage those good qualities to come out by speaking in the right way and treating people in the right way, and see that potential in our fellow human beings. So sometimes maybe there are some people in the BGF you think, oh, they have no hope. There's no hope for this person, but maybe you are wrong. Maybe there's hope for everyone. Yeah, everyone has a chance in this world. The fact that they are coming here, the fact that they are part of something positive is great. Sometimes you look at your fellow monastics and you think, yeah, I'm not sure about this one. But then actually down the line, things change. They become different. They alter their ways. Their conduct becomes more beautiful, And this is the strange thing about human beings. If we get in the right circumstances, the right conditions, we grow and we change. And you see here this also with the Licchavi youths. And this is in part the power of metta, the power of kindness. That this is what drives this. Kindness brings out the best in other people usually. All right. Mahanama, you can expect only growth, not decline, when you find 5 qualities in any gentleman, whether he is anointed aristocratic king, an appointed or hereditary official, an army general, a village chief, a guild chief, or a ruler of his own clan. And so these are like the kshatriyas. You can see, I told you they are like the aristocrats. Yeah, they're the leaders in society. So any gentleman, any of these will grow and not decline if they have 5 qualities. And I think this is probably true for anyone. It's not just true for these kind of people, but any kind of person. So what are these 5? And these are very simple little things you will notice now. You will grow. Firstly, a gentleman uses his legitimate wealth, earned by his effort and initiative, built up by his own hands, gathered by the sweat of the brow, to honor, respect, esteem, and venerate his mother and father. So this is what you do if you want to grow and not decline. You use the wealth that you have built up through your own hard work, the sweat of the brow, your own hard work, to respect and look after your parents, basically. Honored in this way, his mother and father love him with a good heart. Pema or pia, I think maybe pema is the word, I'm not sure. Wishing him live long, stay alive for a long time. When a gentleman is loved by his mother and father, you can expect only growth and not decline. It's helpful to be loved by your mother and father. And this is how you create love in the world. By supporting other people in this way, you create that love, that endearment. Endearment may be a better term here than love, but you become dear to other people. And when you are dear to other people, they will support you, and you have this beautiful mutual relationship where we keep each other in good stead. Furthermore, a gentleman uses his legitimate wealth to honor, respect, esteem, and venerate his wives and children, his bondservants, workers, and staff. Or you could say your husband as well, because the Pali is such that it always tends to focus from the male point of view. That's kind of just the way it is built up, because the male gender is predominant, but it doesn't actually exclude the other way of looking at it. So you can also say venerate your husband in the same way. Honored in this way, your spouse and children, bondservants, workers, and staff love you in return, saying, live long, stay alive for a long time. When a gentleman is loved by his wives and children, bondservants, workers, and staff, you can expect only growth and not decline. You create the sense of endearment in the world, and it is up to each one of us to kind of create that by living in the right way. And we had a look this the other day before about the 4 ways of creating a gathering. The Āghātavatthus, the basis for creating a kind of a gathering around you. These are very closely related to these ideas you're seeing now. You get a large following if you treat other people in a good way. People just come around you. You get this entourage, and people just can't leave you alone. They want to be with you at all times. It's like Ajahn Ganha. He's one of these people who is like a magnet to people. People get drawn in. You kind of see him and you kind of go closer and closer. You can't, stop, no, can't closer and closer and closer. No, the magnet kind of works, ding, and then you just sit there and you can't kind of get away. So those of you who have been to him will notice that he comes out and he talks to people. And there's always this entourage, a group of people sitting there, and they just sit there. I don't know if they listen to what he says. Probably don't listen at all. They just kind of feel the vibe, and they're happy, with feeling the vibe. And that's usually what it is like. If someone is very kind and you have a feeling of that kindness, that vibe draws you in a sense. And this is what this is about to a large extent. Furthermore, a gentleman uses his legitimate wealth to honor, respect, esteem, and venerate those who work the neighboring fields and those he does business with. Honored in this way, those who work in the neighboring fields and those he does business with love him with a good heart, wishing live long, stay alive for a long time. When a gentleman is loved by those who work in the neighboring fields and those he does business with, you can expect only growth, not decline. So is the BGF, are you honoring those in the neighboring fields? I was just thinking about the neighboring business downstairs. You should. Do you know those people? Do you know the people in the neighbor? You do. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay. You know. Are you part? It's kind of nice idea, right? So the neighboring business people down the bottom, they know the BGF is there. The BGF is kind of kind to them, right? And they say hello and whatever. And in this way, you kind of create this good environment. It's like the BGF vibe spreads outside of this building, not contained within this building. Yeah, these buildings are kind of vibe-proof walls. And no, the walls are not vibe-proof. This vibe spread outside to the neighboring area as well. And that can be quite hard because, in a kind of multicultural society like Malaysia, it is not always, can be a bit difficult, but it can be done. People always like kindness and things. So, after a while, people start to kind of reciprocate that kindness that you have. And you just have to keep going. When you walk around the streets here in Petalingjaya, you can't just... or Dhammansara, whatever it is, you can't, when you say good morning to someone, you can't just, if they don't respond, you can't give up straight away. You have to say next morning, also say good morning. And the next morning, you say good morning. And eventually, after 2 months of saying good morning, then finally they respond. Yeah, they say, oh, good morning back. And it's like that, especially when you are a Buddhist monk. It takes a long time for people to warm up to you because you are a bit strange, yeah? Especially one like me, coming from a Western country, clad in these robes, like, oh, this, better be careful here, yeah? Stay away, don't get too close to this one. He might be dangerous. And so, it's okay, that's fine, people can think that. But over time, things change and people open up. It was very funny, we were walking with Bobby in the jungle the other day at the Kiara Hill, right? And it was kind of nice. Bobby said, as soon as you go into the forest, everyone becomes very friendly. But once you get down on the road, no one says good morning anymore. And the strange thing is like that everywhere in the world. When you go to Norway, to my country, if you go skiing in the forest, everyone says good morning to each other. But as soon as you come out of the forest, no one says a word to each other. It's strange. It's the same thing everywhere. I wonder, there's something there about in the forest you are kind of free, or maybe you trust people in the forest because these are good people who go for a walk, or whatever it is. But people become much more open. And so in the forest, actually, people were very friendly. I could feel the difference. As soon as I came down on the road, I said good morning, people walk past. So sometimes you have to try hard to say these things. And it's something beautiful about that, because you create trust in the world when you're friendly in this way, with your neighbors, with everyone. And that's a beautiful thing, to create trust in the world. There's so much mistrust, there's so much kind of antagonism, and if you can build down some of those walls, some of those mental barbed wires. I see there's lots of barbed wires here in KL. They walk around and think, oh, all this barbed wire. With at least a mental barbed wire, we can delete that, and create a better society. And it's amazing what you can do just by simple friendliness. It's very funny when I walk with Ajahn Brahm, we have this little alms round at Dhammaloka Center in Perth. Every weekend on Saturday morning we go for a little alms round. It's a kind of fake alms round, right? Because everyone knows we are coming as the local Buddhists living nearby, and so we walk to their houses and they kind of give us alms. But they're always very well prepared, so it's not the same thing as they do in Asian countries. But it's still a nice thing to do. And on the way, you always see a lot of people driving around or walking around with a dog or whatever. And you always say good morning. Ajahn always says good morning to everyone. To everyone. And it's really beautiful. And people some people just walk past and want to see you, but some people respond back again and with good morning. And it creates this kind of feeling in the local community that's very positive and nice. Anyway, so this, you can see why this works, right? People actually do love you after a while. They gain this respect, they gain an affection for you. I'm not sure about love is the right word, but affection or well-wishing or whatever. Furthermore, a gentleman uses his legitimate wealth to honor, respect, esteem, and venerate the deities who receive spirit offerings. Honored in this way, the deities who receive spirit offerings have affection for him, and with a good heart, wishing, live long, stay alive for a long time. When a gentleman is loved by the deities, you can expect only growth, not decline. So not entirely sure about that. I think the most important thing is to live with good qualities, and they will look after you. Spirit offerings, maybe. I don't know exactly how that would work, but who knows? I'm open to any possibilities. Furthermore, a gentleman uses his legitimate wealth to honor, respect, esteem, and venerate ascetics and Brahmins. Honored in this way, ascetic and Brahmins love him with a good heart, wishing, live long, stay alive for a long time. When a gentleman is loved by ascetics and Brahmins, they can expect only growth, not decline. When the arahants in the world, when the Aryas in the world have affection for you, because you are a supporter, you are kind and all these kind of things, it's going to be very powerful for you. It's kind of one of those nice things, because that means that when you go through suffering or you're going to die or whatever, you will have that support of people who can really guide you in a good way. And so that's kind of very, very beneficial thing right there. I think there's another sutta somewhere, it says that, the arahants in the world, they will have affection and love first of all for those people who support them, because they have been giving, and so they give something in return. It's that idea of gratitude, and this is part of what you're seeing here. You can expect only growth, not decline, when you find these 5 qualities in any gentleman, whether he is an anointed aristocrat king, an appointed or hereditary official, an army general, a village chief, a guild chief, or a ruler of his own clan. So there you are. So this is the idea of treating people with kindness, and in return for that you get affection and love. That's kind of how things work in the world, and not always, but that's a general rule. It works in this way. So I don't know. This are nice little suttas. Nothing very profound, but again, the point of the Dhamma is that you need to do all the simple things to reach the profound things. This is the pathway to the profound things via the kind of basic and ordinary things. So this is it's good to be reminded of these things. And it's kind of interesting how much emphasis there is in the suttas on these very simple little things that we should be doing. And you can see a lot of this is obviously given to lay people, it's practical advice to lay people, not kind of intellectual advice. Okay, let's move on to the next little sutta. Grounds for resentment. Okay, now this is the antithesis to what we have seen. So, what are the grounds for resentment? Mendicants, there are 9 grounds for resentment. Resentment is basically like ill will or anger, right? What 9? Thinking, they did wrong to me. You harbor resentment. Thinking, they are doing wrong to me. They harbor resentment. Thinking, they will do wrong to me. You harbor resentment. You would notice here the idea of me. Me is very central here. It's all about me. And it's because you think that people are doing something wrong to you. That's why you get upset, because it's about me. And so it's this very self-centered view of the world. And if you are self-centered like this, of course you are, because this is the way we see the world. We see the world from our point of view. We look out at the world from behind our own eyes. We see the world from kind of within. Of course we are going to be self-centered in this way. And so it is very natural for human beings to gain resentment when we think other people wrong us. And this happens all the time. People will wrong us all the time. Actually, people do. I just got this coffee, so I get not wronged. I got righted instead. Wow, so fortunate, right? It's the anti-wrong. So someone did the anti-wrong to me, then you harbor the opposite, gladness, I suppose. Just testing the coffee, see how glad I should be. Okay, very glad actually, that's good. So again, you can see it really revolves around this idea of the sense of self. The sense of self is responsible for so much of the dukkha and the problems in life. And as I mentioned yesterday, there's a very easy way out of this, and that is to remember that when someone wrongs you, actually they're not wronging you at all. They're just wronging themselves, and they have no idea what they're doing. It is their own conditioning coming out. It's got nothing to do with you, really. It may feel like it has to do with you. You may feel like you are had to bear the brunt of someone else's bad conduct, and maybe you lose something, or maybe whatever. But it's not really about you. It's about them. So even if they steal your, something from you, it's not about you, really, even if they steal from you, because they are just stealing. They are thieves. That's what they do. And it's their problem at the end of the day. And so if you are able to think like this, you can overcome so much of the problem, so much of the issue here. So again, this is the right way of getting out of these kind of resentments. Don't think it's about you, it's about the other person. They have a problem. You can make it yours if you want to, but it's not recommended by the Buddha. Don't make it your problem. Leave it with these other people. So here is another 3 grounds for resentment, right? Thinking, they did wrong to someone I love. They harbor resentment. They are doing wrong to someone I love. They harbor resentment. They will do wrong to someone I love, and they harbor resentment. Our family members or whatever, someone treats our family members wrongly. But again, remember, it has nothing to do with that family member or with you. It has to do with a person who does something wrong. They are trapped in that wrongness. They are the ones who have a problem. They are the ones who make bad karma. They're the ones who probably want to do what is right, but they can't stop themselves, and so they do bad anyway. So then we turn that resentment into compassion instead. We can see that resentment is very often around human beings. Human beings are really one of the most difficult things in the world, and this is what we see here. They helped someone I disliked, and they harbor resentment, thinking they are helping someone I dislike. They harbor resentment, thinking they will help someone I dislike. You harbor resentment. These are the 9 grounds for resentment. This is the same. We saw this yesterday, how this works. And again, the idea of someone you like, someone you dislike, and you take sides with that one way or the other. So, especially the one, they will help someone I dislike, or they will harm someone I like, is a very foolish way of thinking, because that's about the future. You don't even know what's going to happen. And sometimes we have these ideas about the future that destroy the present for us. So because the future is so uncertain, that's a particularly silly thing to do. As for the past, they harmed someone I liked, or they helped someone I dislike. Again, you have to just forgive the past, let go of the past. It's all finished. They made a mistake, okay, so you forgive that. And the most difficult one is in the present, because in the present it's often right there in your face. And if someone harms you in your face, or someone you like, then of course that is when it's difficult. That's why you have to very quickly bring up the kind of perceptions that I'm talking about now. This is why developing our perceptions based on this sort of right view is actually a very important part of the Buddhist path. Changing our attitude to things that allows us the opportunity to take new avenues and move forward in a new direction. All right, so let us take a 5-minute break.
Morning, Ajahn.
Good morning.
Just a question on translation. You have here in the Licchavi youth, the Vajis will grow up. The Vajis will grow up. And I have Ajahn Sujato and Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation as they will be Vajis. They will be Vajis.
Okay. So where does this grow up come from? I don't know. Where did that come from? The Vajis will grow up.
Bhavi Santi Vaji. Bhavi Santi Vaji.
Bhavi Santi, they will be here. The Vajis will be here. They will be here. Yeah. I think it just means they will be. Yeah. But Bhavi Santi is the verb to be. They will be. The Vajis will be. But I think the translation I have here, the Vajis will grow up, comes from Bhante Sujato. So where do you have? Is it? Maybe he has changed his translation then. Maybe he has kind of made a change. Maybe I have an older version or something. I don't know. They will be. But it's obviously some kind of idiom. It can't just mean they will be Vajris. Right, they will become real Vajris, like the real proper Vajris, the good people, something like that. It must mean something like that. They will kind of, that's probably what the meaning is. So they will grow up. It's not entirely wrong. I think we're kind of roughly on the same page, actually. This is one of the difficulties with translation is the idioms in the language. No language means exactly word for word what it says, and it can be quite hard to catch those idioms sometimes. All right. Anyone else like to say anything here? No? Yes? Finally, Venerable Sirivara. Yay! Sadhu!
Under this same topic about food,
the
Vaji, I don't think Indian people eat pancake.
They don't eat pancake? Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he had the translation for pancake.
Okay. We should write to Bhante Sudato and complain. Chapati.
Roti or chapati. More likely would be chapati.
More like a chapati, yeah, okay. Yeah, actually, Bhante Sudato, he loves his Indian food. So he knows, I don't know why he has pancakes in there, but maybe, I think, one of the things when you translate is to kind of make the text understandable to a new audience. And many people in the West, actually these days many people know what chapati is, but many people still don't know probably. So everyone knows what pancake is. You go to pancake with syrup. This kind of isn't the standard. You are half American, Venerable Punsiri. Is that what you have in the in the US? Did you eat many pancakes? So I think there is some. I agree with you that it probably doesn't mean pancakes, but sometimes I think it may still be an acceptable translation because you are creating it putting it into language that is approximately the same and kind of understandable to the new audience. This is one of the problems of translation. How much do you go literally according to what's there, and to what extent do you reshape it so as to become understandable? It is one of those very difficult things sometimes. So the idea for me, when you have a passage in the Pali, is that to ask, well, what does this whole passage mean? If you are going to get the same understanding as someone born in Australia or whatever, as an Indian person had, when they read the passage, how do you get the same understanding across? And that is often not by translating literally. If you translate literally, it becomes gobbledygook in Australia. What this means nothing for me. But so you have to translate in a way that the meaning is carried across, but not necessarily the wording. And that's why maybe pancake is acceptable, even though actually chapati is the proper meaning. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Punsiri? Am I on the wrong track, or am I deluded? Am I?
No, I think food.
Food.
It's what they call. It's not culture, but it's what.
It's culture. Sure, it's culture.
It is part of the culture.
Yeah, of course.
I think food. It should be from the original food that they eat during those times.
Okay. Fair enough, yeah.
At one...
I have been missing this, you have been saying anything this time. Usually you have many kind of opinions. It's good, yeah.
After Tipitaka chanting 1 year in Bodh Gaya, after we finished and we went to this, tracing the Buddha, from what is that? The bamboo temple.
Bamboo Grove, Veluvana.
Around that area, we walked Bintabat, and they did some research what the people ate at those times, and we all walked bhikkhus, bhikkhuni. There's many of us. And then the food that they offer is the food in the Buddha's time that they offer, like rice and
Milk rice.
Dal, those kind of food.
Right.
And after we finished, we all sat down and ate with the hand,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I was luckily, I had a plastic spoon in my yam, so I used that. And, other Thai monks, they couldn't finish it because they were not accustomed to.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to eat with your hand if you're not used to it.
Yeah,
it's quite hard.
They had especially liquid, because it's the curry. It's liquid, so it's very hard to. That's what we had. So I think the translator should do some research, especially in tradition, what they did and what they had in those times. There were, so we can, the reader can refer to what they.
Yeah. I think there is a case to be made for that. Then you understand the local culture better when you see the local food. But it's not easy to persuade Bhante Sujato, you see, because I know him. I have written to him many times and come with many suggestions, and usually he says, "Nah, I don't like that." Okay. He's hard to persuade. He actually does quite a lot of research in some areas, but in other areas maybe not so much. So this is an area maybe. Actually, this is the Anguttara Nikaya. He hasn't yet done the. Because he annotates everything, he makes notes for everything, like comments, and so there will be lots of footnotes on the pages, and so I think he still is waiting to do the research. There's still hope that this may be changed. The hope is not out yet. There's still possibilities. Thank you, Venepunsivi. I appreciate that you actually pipe up and come with you and have some points. It's really nice. And so please continue to do so. And also the other venerables as well. Please don't be afraid of speaking. Now there we are. Okay, it's all happening.
She started
the dam wall has been broken. Now the deluge.
No, actually, what it is, Ajahn, is that your teachings are so nice that it's so delightful in one's mind that you sort of travel in this quietness, and it's like fireworks. It explodes and then it falls down, and you just like to be quiet with it. So it takes energy to say something.
Okay.
So
that is very kind of you.
on that, about the translations, because of course there was one sutta I read where Ajahn Sujato had translated to a very Australian word called the billabong. And so I think that was for the well. And so with translations, it's quite difficult because you have the continuities and discontinuities, and they have to make decisions about that. And part of that is sort of expanding the bandwidth of our understanding, and that means introducing new vocabulary. And because we have a global connection now, it provides opportunities for people to learn new labels to think about things. So we have to be a bit spacious with some of the translation words. There you are.
Yeah, it's true. I think sometimes when you come to the suttas, initially you want to have the same translations for every word, because otherwise it gets confusing for you. So some people complain about that. Oh no, you translate different word. Please use the same word as Bhikkhu Bodhi so I can understand what's going on. And initially that's true, but after a while it's actually helpful to see different translations, because it broadens your understanding of what the Pali word really is about, because very often there isn't like a single word which captures the Pali anyway. And so broadening out the ideas can be very helpful. When Bhante Sujato translates sankhara as choices, to me that's very helpful in one way, because it gives a very clear idea what is meant by this, whereas intentions and volition and all of these words are a bit more theoretical. Choice, we all know what choice is. You go to the restaurant and you choose from the menu. That's a choice. It's very, very down to earth, and that can be helpful. But on the other hand, choices does not capture all the nuances of the word sankhara, so it is also limited on the one hand. But once you get choices, you understand more what is meant by intention and volition and will and these things, and it kind of creates a better overall understanding. So thank you. That's good, huh? Dhammapiya, you're the only one who hasn't spoken now, or the bhikkhunis. No, there's no. You don't have to say
Bhante Dhammapala always say, learn the Pali. Don't trust the translation.
Don't trust the translation.
Yeah, that's my teacher's advice.
So, it's one of the things as a monastic, I think is very helpful as a monastic to know the Pali. And so I would recommend all monastics, if you have a little bit of aptitude for language, to actually learn Pali. And these days there are really good courses available online and things. But I think for many lay people, they're probably advisable to stick to the translations. Otherwise, you spend your whole life studying and you never do anything practical with the Dhamma. That's also a downside. Yeah. Okay, great. Let's carry on, Bobby. Oh, okay, no one. Yeah, please, one more over there. Yep.
I'm just worried. Pia looking at me. Morning, Ajahn.
Good morning. Yeah.
Talking about translation, just now I was thinking, why don't you call it Indian pancake or Chinese pancake? You know? There's a lot of confusion. Sometimes I got friends from overseas comes and she sees some kind of food there. So you have to look at their culture. Oh, this is actually a local fried meat. To you is fried noodles. To us is another Hokkien cha. It's a different name, is it? Right? Yeah. Just like we make pancake, it's different style from the Indian pancake.
Yeah.
So we just name it. Anyway, coming back to my question, I wanted to just confirm with Ajahn on this Āghātavata Nikaya 8.29, the lost opportunity.
Oh, lost opportunities, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fifth lost opportunity.
Yeah.
The third lost opportunity that those reborn in the ghost realm. You mentioned that they can receive merits, right?
Yeah.
Right. And they can't practice the Dhamma.
That's what it seems.
So they, in a way, they can't read or listen to Dhamma.
Presumably, yeah.
Is that my understanding?
Yeah, yeah. So or maybe they can understand it, but they can't practice it. Maybe I'm not really sure. Maybe there's too much suffering. When you are really suffering, it's very hard to practice. You know, it's very hard to bring up kindness if you're being tortured all the time by someone. You know, so something like that. So, yeah.
I agree with you. Sometimes when we grow up, we see some movies, and when people see ghosts, they will start to chant. And when you chant, the ghost will go away, you see. So in a way, it gives me an impression that when you chant, the ghosts don't like the chanting, you see. They will just...
I see.
I don't know. That's my thinking.
There is something to that, you know, because it depends on why the ghost is there. And, you know, one of the things that we do sometimes in Perth, sometimes you have one of the jobs of monks is ghost busting. That's one of our jobs. And so... Yeah, so very often what you have is like, you know, someone in the house, they're saying, oh, we have a ghost in our house, we have a ghost in our restaurant or whatever. And I don't know, maybe there is sometimes, maybe it's just in your imagination, but sometimes it may be true. And so we go there and we do the chanting, yeah. And very often what you do is things like the Metta Sutta, and it kind of transfers some merit to these ghosts. And very often the feeling in the house changes afterwards. It's as if the ghost has gone. And so it is the chanting can actually make them leave, but not because you are scaring them, but because they are now satisfied. They have been satisfied. They were holding on because they wanted something from you. When you give them what they want, then they can leave and they can kind of move on into a new existence or whatever. Yeah. So so that's one of the services we provide in our Buddhist monastery, ghost busting.
Thank you, Ajahn.
You're welcome. Yeah. Neighbor busting. Yeah, so we can. I don't know if it will work with his neighbors. The neighbors are more stubborn than the ghosts sometimes. So